Hello, environmental science class. Today we are going to talk about the social, political, and economic aspects of environmental science and of conservation in general. This is going to be a little bit different because we're going to talk about some more things that are more amorphous or vague instead of hard facts, because these are just the general ideas behind a lot of the stuff we're going to be talking about later in this unit and throughout the year. Right, so just in general, these are some, they're not quite vocab words, but they're things I want you to have the idea behind. And a lot of these, if you are able to look at the actual word itself, you can start to make out what it means. All right, so intergenerational equity is that the people who are living right now need to make sure that their own needs are met. Remember those needs we talked about: food, water, sleep, place to live, shelter, we called it, right? All those things, as well as making sure that they're doing that in a way that future generations, so their kids and their kids' kids, are able to also meet their own needs. All right. So intergenerational, inter means between. Generation is a group of people living at the exact same time. Equity is a lot like the word equal, right? So intergenerational equity. Intragenerational equity. So intra means inside of instead of in between. So intragenerational equity is that present generations, so people who are alive now, need to act in ways that make sure that others who are also alive right now can also meet their needs. The word impede here means to slow down or stop. Ecological justice, which is something that gets thrown around a lot when we have natural disasters and that kind of thing, as well as pollution from large-scale companies hurting small individuals or smaller groups. But ecological justice also applies to non-human species. So human actions should not endanger other species is the way that I worded the quick snippet there. So the way that humans act should not put another species at risk of going extinct. A lot of times that has to do with removal of their natural environment where they would live normally. All right. Political aspects. So there's a couple of different parts of this, just like when we talked about maintaining our ecological stability. So there's kind of tiers here. So we're looking at mainly laws and mandates at different levels of government: local, state, federal, and international law, that make sure that people and companies are acting in such a way that all these things are happening. All right, we're going to talk about laws as they come up. You might have heard of the Clean Air Act. There are a lot of state and federal rules about how water can be used. Think about the river, the Rio Grande, that feeds a lot of the West Coast. The Colorado River feeds a lot of the West Coast. So if you've got somebody upriver taking all the water or polluting the water, it affects the people who are downriver. So we need laws and mandates to make sure that that happens. Otherwise, because capitalism is what it is, the people who with the most money are going to be able to do what they want. And the people that don't have enough money are going to get hurt by that. We also need to address the root problems instead of just the symptoms. So we know what symptoms are, right? Like if you have a cold or the flu, you might have a cough or a sore throat or a fever. That's a symptom. But the cause of it is a bacteria or a viral infection, right? So political aspects are making sure that usually governments, sometimes activist groups or lobbyists, are working towards solving what's causing the issue instead of the problems that the issue is making. Again, we'll be talking about a lot of this stuff as it comes up in the class. This is almost an introductory part of it. So economical aspects. This economics, you guys have, some of you have taken the class. It effectively just has to do with money and how I almost said the economy. I don't want to use the word economy when talking about how economical is defined. That'd be poor practice. So this is talking about how businesses and individuals can interact with the environmental science. So in industry-driven pricing. So a lot of the things that are done to either hamper or stop the impact of a business on the environment for the negative, to slow them down from hurting the environment, is driven by how much it costs. Like, I would love to drive a Tesla and have an electric vehicle, but I don't have that kind of money, so I drive an Accord. So I can't afford to be more environmentally conscious. The cost of change is also part of this. If you already have a business model in place that does one thing, it costs a lot of money to change that so that it does something else. Like, continuing it with the electric car example, if you have a factory building regular cars with an internal combustion engine that runs on gasoline or diesel, and you want to start making electric cars, you have to change a lot of the things about that factory. You're no longer making the same type of engine, and it costs money to do that. Equal access is another one, where it is based on how those goods can get to or where they are available. So say for electric cars again, electric motors are only available in specific places. So you may not just have access to an electric car because you don't live in a place that has electric car dealerships. All right, so we didn't cover a whole lot, right? But we covered some general ideas. I want you to make sure you have these general ideas down and a good idea of them. You're going to use the discussion for today to talk about at least one of these, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit during the Google Meet that is associated with this video. As always, if you have any questions, send me an email, reach out to me so that I can help you. Remember, my office hours are from 2 to 3 every day. Take advantage of that. Have a good one.